So he's the guy that takes all the food, eh?
Yeah, he's not shy.
Did you guys get a chance to look at the truck? Did you actually get a chance to bear witness?
Yeah, I did.
What do you think?
I'll do the next one if there's one.
Yeah.
It's emotional, yeah, it does touch the heartstrings.
It's interesting, isn't it?
To be there and see them, and you obviously know what's next for them.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, there's a reason you're doing it. You know, clearly.
Why do you think we do this?
Yeah, it's awareness.
Because you see a lot of people give us the middle finger when they're driving by and stuff, but
I would have said the amount I've seen there's probably
more
looking at them, there's more support than there is negativity, because you can generally tell the ones that have got a few in the van and are kind of screaming past. There's a lot of kind of decent looking folk that are kind of waving and giving you a thumbs up and things like that. And then you'll get the stupid comments that will come in.
Yeah.
A lot of male supporters.
That's why we're here, partially, is to just raise awareness, because I think slaughterhouses exist because we don't know what happens inside of them. We don't even know that they're there a lot of times, right? There's some support, yeah. But
I think you've hit the nail on the head there. People will just, all they see is the meat in a nice package, in a nice supermarket. They don't want to think, well, where did this actually come from? All they know is it tastes good, it looks good, and that's it.
Most folk, if they put their mind to it, they'll know, but they just don't want to know.
Yeah.
Again, it's just the way things have evolved. It's just it's there. It's nice and easy in a supermarket to look at it. You know, I could tell you just now, if I was to do a bit of cooking with my kids, and I was to show, and I was to talk to especially my youngest kid, if I was to tell my daughter what that was and what we were doing with it and where it came from, she's like, oh, immediately. And you're like, well, that comes from a cow, or this comes, you know, and she's like, right away. So it's funny because kids are instinctively honest. That's just the way they are. And they're like, oh, how did that? It's just they're not used to it. And you try and explain to them. As I said to Dean, if you were going to go and, I don't know, have some chicken or have, and somebody says, right, you need to start from scratch, would you do it? Of course you wouldn't. I'll maybe just settle for something else.
But isn't it funny how people argue all the time that it's normal for us to do this, Yet we're so disconnected from the actual process. How many people, if you wanted, a chicken, we do a lot of outreach, we talk to people on the streets all the time, I said, if you had, let's say you had two options here. You had the option of having a soy burger, or a lentil burger, or a quinoa burger, or a seitan burger, or all the different types of burgers. Or there's another option where you have to take a knife, stick it in the throat of an animal, cut off a piece of their body, and then cook it and then make a burger. Which one would most people choose? But we're so disconnected. Well, which one would you guys choose?
You would go for the...
You normally go for the veggie burger, right? But it's funny how, and all it's...
The way things have worked out now.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying it's right, it's just the way it is, the way of the world. And you say, these places are out the way for a reason, because it would put people off, there's no doubt about it. I've got no doubts in my mind that would put people off, seeing how it's coming to their plate.
Yeah.
Did you say it's sort of catching on quite a big way in Canada? Would you say that?
I mean, I think everywhere in the world it's catching on. Most developed countries, veganism is booming. If you go to supermarkets now, you see all the veggie products now, the veggie meats, the veggie cheeses, and all that stuff. So it's starting to boom, and I think partially because of this, partially because of economic reasons. The meat industry takes a ton of resources. It's not cheap to produce meat. They receive a lot of subsidies from governments. I'm sure Scotland's the same way. Otherwise, people wouldn't actually be able to afford it. So when people start realizing, hey, you know what? I can put my money, I can basically vote with my dollar for healthier options. Relatively, they're cheaper. They're just the veggie options aren't subsidized yet. Hopefully it happens at some point. But ultimately, I think it just boils down to a consciousness. You guys are forced to be here, otherwise you probably wouldn't be at a slaughterhouse. Have you heard of the term speciesism?
No.
So speciesism, like racism or sexism or any of the isms, is discrimination. This one's based on species. So we view cows, for example, this is a weird thing. If you saw someone here beating the shit out of a dog, kicking them, what would you do as police officers? What would you do as human beings, right?
I know you would.
Yet, right down here, we have animals who are being brutalized, being stabbed in the throats over there, and what are we doing? As humans, forget about belief, right? What do we do? We turn the other way. Right? It's not in our nature to turn away, but right now the legal system protects that type of animal cruelty because we view it as necessary. But would you guys say that it's necessary for us to eat meat? Not that we like it.
Not after
but is it,
talking to you.
but is it like?
It's not. It's,
Yeah.
no, it's not. Certainly not in this day and age.
Yeah, I think
But
it's
yeah,
certainly
I think-
easier to not do it now than what it was, 10,
Oh yeah.
10
Even-
years ago,
yeah.
even 5 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I've been
So
vegan 7
it's-
years. I've noticed the change in just the availability of products and that sort of stuff.
And that'll only expand, I'd imagine. That'll only get bigger.
It'll only get better.
The
And-
range will increase. But what I was saying to John is it must be so hard because I'd imagine there are a lot of animal products and a lot of everyday things that you really wouldn't realise.
Yep. You know what you realize is when you start becoming conscious of the food that you eat, which to me is one of the most important things. Like now it's become a priority, is it's the fuel that goes inside your body. But when you start looking at the packages, you start reading ingredients, not only do you notice how many animal products are in there, but just how much crap is in there in general. So it's really changed just the products that I buy. You have kids, you said, right? You have kids?
No.
I mean, even just from this is something that bothers me, that as children we never learned how to eat healthy, how to eat properly. Where did we all learn that we needed to eat meat and cheese and eggs and all that stuff? When did we learn that?
From your family, I suppose.
Yeah. And from a very, very young age.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
And it's always a sort of question I'd imagine that's asked a lot. What about all the nutrients? You say drink eggs, milk, calcium for your bones, eggs for protein, steak for protein.
Yeah, of course.
Where does all this come from in your diet? And all the things like kidney beans, lentils, all these contain the amount of protein anyway.
It's funny that you mentioned those. I was going to ask you if you already know what. So first of all, here's a weird thing that I just learned recently, admittedly. All protein, all of it, originates from plants. All the animal kingdom, if you think of like animals that eat other animals, well, they're eating animals that eat vegetation, right? Cows, for example, massive animals. Where do they get their protein? They don't eat animals, right? They get it from plants. So it's something that we weren't taught. I was taught protein equals meat or eggs or dairy, right? No, man. Everything that we consume. A watermelon, a large watermelon has 30 grams of protein in it. Nobody thinks that watermelon is protein. It has tons of protein. So it's kind of relearning what we've been taught, and everything is protein. So protein is the most common question I think that people get when they think of the health thing, and it's actually the least amount of concern, because as long as you're eating enough calories, you're always getting enough protein. How many people do you know that are protein deficient, whether they're vegan or vegetarian or not? Protein's not an issue. Don't get me wrong, the health aspect is important for me. Obviously, I care about my own health, and I care about everybody's health. But for me, the number one reason why I'm vegan is not because of health. I'd say it's a nice benefit, but for me, it's this. I don't want to cause unnecessary harm, or death, or suffering. I probably shouldn't be telling you this because it's off the record, but I've had the opportunity to go inside of places, farms and slaughterhouses, and record what happens inside there. It's heartbreaking. It's disgusting. I get flashbacks from it. It's not, anybody that says that that's natural, I'm sure you guys wouldn't want to if you guys had a chance to go into a kill floor and see what happens. Nobody wants to see that, right? So what is that?
We were quite surprised. The chap with the photographer with the blonde hair was saying about obviously the stun doesn't necessarily always work, and they're still cutting
Absolutely
them with the
not.
throat.
I can verify that. I've seen it in person. It doesn't always work.
I actually thought it was I've been told in the past it was like some sort of bolt, like through
The bolt guns.
Through the
So
head.
so the standard industry practice across the world is the cows. They'll put a bolt gun to their head. They'll shoot them in the head.
And it's
The
supposed
problem
to be
is
instantaneous.
that's what's supposed to happen. Actually, I mean, let's not even talk about the scenarios where it doesn't work. Let's talk about the scenarios where it does work. So what? If I were to go up to anybody here and put a bullet in their head and they didn't feel anything, is that humane? Is that acceptable?
It's the way it's put across to make
Yeah.
it sound human, and it's accepted. That's the problem. It is accepted because a lot of people do not want to really focus too much on where their stuff's coming from. Again, anyone with a wee bit of common sense, if they really put their mind to it, they're going to know in the back of their heads. Like you're talking about there with their meat, of course, it tells you that if something is dead, it's going to rot.
Of course.
So how do you get it in your plate? How does it get a sell by? How does it last so long? Free, all these different things. So yeah, naturally, you've got to ask questions. So it's not like a shock when you're saying that. It's like, yeah, well, how else would it be lasting so long?
Well, the other gross part about it is not only is sure it's going to rot if it's out in the air, right?
Course, yeah.
But guess what happens when you eat it and it sits inside your body for a few days? It's actually rotting inside of you. Meat can sit inside you for a while, and that's why if you know the big Christmas or the Thanksgiving dinners, you sit there and you're like, ugh, right?
Feel
It's cause,
lethargic,
of course you do.
tired for
Yeah,
a while.
I can eat as much food as I want. If it's healthy, I feel great. You know, I'll never feel that like that heavy feeling where I know what it's like.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
So the difficult question is, could
Have
you
you
guys
changed? Is that what
could
you're
you guys
saying?
go vegan? No, and I know it's not an easy thing to say, but could you ever see yourself doing that, or do you think it's just too hard, despite everything that you're hearing?
It's
about?
not that it's too hard. It's certainly just looking into it and just trying to get a taste for something else that that you're just not used to, because it's so easy. You just come to work, you just do your own thing, you just get through. But yeah, it's just trying to, I suppose, try something else.
Mm-hmm.
I could do it because I've always thought that certainly a lot of cancers are caused by even the medicines that are given to animals, the meat itself. Yeah, I think
It
it's
certainly has
the
caused
root
some-
cause of a
certainly
lot
has
of
caused.
Do you know what the
issues we face.
Well, I'll ask you guys, what do you think the hardest part would be? If let's say you decided to go vegan tomorrow, what would be the most difficult thing for you?
To be honest with you, nothing really.
Really?
I don't. It's not like I go home and I have a steak every night or I have chicken every night. It's just.
It's the unknown.
I think it's
isn't it?
probably. Do you know what it's all about? I think it's convenience, and that's the
Yeah,
biggest thing.
yeah.
And that, truth be told, it is. It's just convenience.
What milk would you drink? Soya milk?
There are probably 10 different types of milks that are
Almond
plant-based.
milk and-
There's almond, oat, rice. I think they make pea. They make oat. Did they say oat already? Yeah, of course. Soy. There's a bunch. Oh, hazelnut. There's a ton. My favorites are almond. I like oat for coffees or cappuccinos and stuff like that. I like coconut milk for my smoothies. So you just find what you like.
Yeah.
There's. I'm sure you're gonna like one or two or three of them. You know what I'll do is I'll give you a card.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have a.
Is another truck on the way?
Yes, we're going
Yeah,
to
you go,
have a
yeah.
wee look.
This card has a ton of resources, different documentaries. If you and your wife or you and your partner are willing to do it, that challenge right there, Vegan 22, it's a 3-week challenge. It's totally free. You sign up online, you get a mentor, and whatever questions you have, you want to know like what kind of milks, or they'll give you like recipe challenges or food meal challenges, all types of stuff. And you can give it a shot for 3 weeks and see what happens. It's honestly, it's. I wish my dad had this conversation when I was a kid. Really, man, I really
Get
do.
her stopped now.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Yeah.
In the west of Scotland, nobody likes to be the one that's being different because they just get picked on, and
Yeah.
kids are.
Oh, we
cruel.
get. I mean,
Yeah.
I definitely get. I mean, look at us standing here. We get middle fingers and stuff
Yeah.
like that. You have to develop a bit of a tougher skin,
Absolutely.
but when you know you're doing the right thing, as you are doing as, let's say, police officers, for example, if someone gives you, you're not going to take that personally, right?
Have you converted them yet?
I don't know.
Almost. I might go home and have a wee look.
You got to. That's what it is.
22-day challenge.
Yes.
Are we up for that, John?
I think we're up for it.
Give it a
Would, would you guys do it?
I would do it.
Do it as partner and do it with your wife, especially if it's so much easier when you do it with a work partner or.
I didn't expect this today.
Trying to convert the public and you actually convert the two cops.
We've been conditioned since we were young. I fully understand. I fully understand why there are racist people, why there are sexist people. I understand it because if you grow up in a household where you've been taught
Absolutely.
that darker skin equals bad your whole life, you're going to believe that, right? So I get it, and we've grown up speciesist. We've grown up thinking that cows and pigs and chickens don't matter. We can, brutalize them, but dogs and cats, you got to protect them, and love them. It's
Yeah.
it's really funny how
Oh, yeah,
when you realize it, all these light bulb goes on. You're like, holy shit, what's the difference? Yeah.
No, you've been very inspirational. You're a
have
good
indeed.
inspirational promoter of it.
Well, thank you guys. Hey, what's up, everyone? Thank you so much for watching that video all the way to the end. I know it's a long one, but it's probably one of the best vegan outreach conversations I've ever had. So thanks to Dean and John, the two officers who were awesome, very open-minded. I just wanted to share a little bit of background regarding something that you don't see, which is about the 10 minutes before the video starts. And what you don't see is that I spent a lot of time trying to build rapport and trust with those officers. I brought them water, I brought them snacks, and I think the video starts off with me cracking a joke about how the tall officer John was eating a lot of the food that I was bringing him. So yeah, I can't overemphasize the importance of building rapport with people and kicking that conversation off on a really positive note. It can make the difference between a fantastic, amazing vegan outreach conversation or a really challenging one where you feel like you're just debating the person and arguing with them, and it really gets to be frustrating and unproductive. So yeah, if you like that
feeling of veganizing people and watching people go vegan right in front of you, please subscribe to the Amazing Vegan Outreach channel. I'll keep uploading videos of conversations, and I'll keep uploading educational content as well to share some of the strategies and tactics that we teach in the Mastering Vegan Outreach workshop. That's it for now. Hope everything is good with you guys. Take care. Love you, and bye from Toronto, soon to be Barcelona. And here's Kona. Hey, Kona, say bye. Woof! All right, she's distracted. Squirrels again. Okay, bye.